2 years and over 3 million levels after it first arrived, LittleBigPlanet orbits back from the periphery with a sequel filled with new perspectives, gadgets, gizmos, and what's-its to play with and use for your own constructions. Does it hold the same sway over our imaginations, or is Sackboy delivering a stilted second helping?
Craft World is in grave peril.
When game trailers reviewed the first game, we passed on the stunted story as anemic glue to frame the campaign. This time around, the adventures of your Sackboy, affectionately endeared as Sack Thing to qualm any gender issues, are outright verbose, highlighting new cameras and voice control with the help of fully animated Sackbots, as opposed to the clunky old marionettes. They form an alliance against an ongoing threat of Sackkind annihilation by a menace called the Negativatron. Platforming still trounces the plot when things get going, but the troupe makes for some enjoyable hijinks, rescues, and interplay, lending substance to the actual play. Like the original, the Play, Create, Share tagline drives the game's design. Play covers the story levels, which showcase the classic platforming and all of the new additions. Equipment like the grappling hook work just as advertised, allowing your cloth creation to swing like Tarzan, and the Creatinator can shoot pretty much anything. Platforming takes a backseat as you enter shooting galleries, ride vehicular rodents, and blast things from both a horizontal and vertical perspective. The new Sackbots show how much AI has changed, showing some real personality as they cower, mimic, and fight as you herd and lead them towards salvation. Big bosses, unique mini-games, and plenty of co-op and competitive play keep the story worlds kicking. User-created levels go beyond the run-and-jump standard as well, with Peggle clones and overhead RPGs for starters. You can create things as well, of course. Every Little Big level was created with the same tools, and it's simply a matter of grabbing a plot of land on your moon to start crafting an adventure. Upon loading a blank world, making anything other than a platformer seems impossible, though the 50 friendly tutorials can point you in the direction of more esoteric experiences. Returning players can jump right in with familiar tools remaining intact, but there are additional subsets to dive through and fiddle with. At the mercy of analog sticks, it's too often a pixel hunt to place and connect props, and while it's easy to barf out a haphazard abomination, it takes time and patience to muscle through the grunt work and piece together a masterpiece. The classic formula for genius retains its inspiration to perspiration ratio. Sharing is caring, and LBP2 makes it easy to get into the community aspects. Making comments, publishing levels, or filtering content is a breeze, and millions of levels from the first game are already hanging around for your perusal. Variety is king. Add the ability to link levels together, and it's no longer just levels, but games in the making. Although it's easy to point out chinks in the armor of LittleBigPlanet 2's massive design, the game is without a doubt pushing boundaries for user-generated content. The platforming DNA, even with all the grappling hooks, jump pads, variable gravity, hasn't changed so much. Floaty jumps, a compromise for creating accessible levels, and the shifts between the fore and background return as consistent complaints. Even when piloting a ship, things always feel a little loose. Seeing the world's focus shift to a caterpillar race or playing arcade classics is clever and exciting, but levels are strongest when they're about running and jumping. Reflecting on these experiences usually puts them in the realm of novelty. The shooting sections aren't poor, they're just not as much fun as gallivanting through a world and searching out nooks and crannies for rewards to use in your own levels. That Peggle-like game is fun enough, but the real Peggle is still better. Cleverness can be a double-edged sword. Some levels are better at providing inspiration than providing a well-rounded, enjoyable experience. Those who just want to play will have to sift through some chaff to get to the good stuff, like lazy levels designed to earn easy trophies. But this is somewhat alleviated by the community tools and smart picks by Media Molecule themselves. With an abundance of whimsy, LittleBigPlanet 2 oozes charm from every fibrous pore. Costumes continue to delight, with backdrops and props often exemplifying the words little and big. Cobbled out creations like a giant toilet meld into the general cuteness overload, and artistic tricks like an 8-bit morph feel strangely appropriate. The velveteen varnish has just the right amount of shiny shellac down to the joyous musical picks, with some tweakable tracks matching the game's overall freestyle vibe. Returning creators will find their Sackboy's habitat remains an eye-pleasing playscape with some subtle improvements. Simply put, it's hard not to smirk, smile, or outright beam while traversing these plush planets. LittleBigPlanet 2 isn't really a newly discovered sphere humming in the cosmos. It's more along the lines of a dwarf planet being upgraded to a real one. Blurring the line between game and application, Media Molecule still manages to keep it fun. It's clumsy at times, but its huge potential to amaze and amuse will have you sampling from the burlap buffet until the next version hits. Whether you look at it as a new game or some sort of massive patch, LittleBigPlanet 2 rocks the boat without threatening to capsize it.